सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We are in the fourth mantra. The first mantra covered the directness of the message, Ishavasyam idagam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. So those that are with a prepared mind, that which is given in the first message itself, first pointer itself, is sufficient. The Upanishad could have started and stopped right there. But then, what about the rest of us? Therefore, understanding where we are positioned and why the first mantra, the pointer of the first mantra, did not take us where it intends to. Therefore, the second mantra given. The key being, the second mantra is directly talking to all of us that the preparedness of our antakarana is essential. There are no two ways about it. There is no shortcut to it. Karma has to be performed. Whether you have realized it or not realized it, karma has to be performed. Even the realized one, until the prarabdha of the sharira exists, has to be engaged in activity. There is no second thought about it. We have seen masters in our life wherein they have produced so much more than 1,000 of us put together. There was a Mahatma that used to call Gurudev as a single man army. Swami Gangeshananji, with whose blessings we have the entire Vedic literature in a print format. He was blind, but he had memorized the entire Vedic literature and gotten the things. In those days it was a print set. So everything was set, printed, then people read it out to him. He then corrected it while listening to it. He used to call Gurudev as the army man, the single man army. Why? Because he used to wear the khadau, the padukas, and when he would walk, it would sound as though it was a march past. So we have seen masters who have produced, Gangesh Anandji, Gurudev, and various such masters who have produced much more than 1,000 of us put together, or thousands of us put together. Karma cannot be avoided. Therefore, that karma, don't see it as a burden. See it as a tool, see it as the perfect mechanism for us to completely clean the antakarana, which enables the first mantra, its understanding and abiding in that pointer immediately. Kurvan neveha karmani jiji vishet shatagam samaha. See, the prarabdha is very, very, very strong concept. We may try to avoid it, we may try to circumvent it, we may try to run away from it. Wherever I go, the package of my personalized, customized prarabdha, that box will open and those experiences alone I will be facing. I don't know when as a human mind we will get to understand that concept. 95% of our problem is resisting our own prarabdha. In the modern day, we have been told, we have been taught, we have been tutored, we have been completely molded into the psychology wherein don't like it, change it. Whether it is relationships, whether it is jobs, whether it is various aspects. What is our Karma Yoga Siddhanta saying? Stand up, buckle up, take it by its horns, face it intelligently, so that that pattern is done, washed away. How can it be done? Only with 2 steps. Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata. How do you reach to that Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Ekagrata? When we do it selflessly and dedicate it to the highest altar. And then by practicing various platforms like puja and japa, enables that Shuddha Antakarana to be channelized towards one particular theme, one particular thought. Training has to be done. Vedanta is not complicated. Oh, Hinduism is so complicated. No, our crooked minds, our unstraightened minds make it, because it is not convenient, appear as though it is difficult. Marga is very sahaja, marga is very straightforward. I find it difficult not because of the marga, it is because of the unpreparedness of my mind. ये सब philosophy सब ठीक है, but practically I have to think, Do you think our rishis were fools to not give practicality? We say we have Shraddha, but do everything out of Ashraddha, in that which is given so logically. And upon all of this, they also ensure that it is not a dogma which is enforced. It is your choice to come to understand it, apply it, and liberate yourself. Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet shatakam samaha. If not, what will happen? Asuryanamate lokaha andhena tamasavrataha. We will continuously be in an environment where it is asurya. Asurya, that where the sun doesn't shine. Because it is covered with, enveloped with our own patterns of ignorance. I don't know when will God bless. The greatest form of blessing is not a paltry, the mappilak pedlavaledu or udyogam dorakaledu. That is your effort. Do your purushartha. The greatest blessing that Ishvara can bestow upon each jiva is the environment where the manushyatvam, mumukshutvam and mahapurusha samshraya can coincide. Has it happened? You are already basking in his glorious showering grace. Even then, the scriptures are being very, very, very elaborately compassionate. Even for these paltry desires, go worship the same God. Because unless the desires are removed, I am not ready. And the karma takes a lot of effort. Therefore, we are searching for shortcuts and making it more complicated. Then comes the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, wherein Shravana, after the Shravana, Manana has to happen. After the Manana has happened, then Sandeha Nivritti, whatever are left, you can ask us questions. Without even processing, we have questions. अरे बैठो, सोचो, समझो, अप्लाई करने की कोशिश तो करो, then come up with questions. Oh, in the Western world, the mindset is, even before I have even started, Swamiji, when can I ask questions? I said, out of syllabus. Let me start, let me have the capacity or the opportunity to first confuse you, then you can ask questions in that topic. You have to do Shravana. Shravana, then Manana. Mananantaram, then try applying that Manana. Then you will find loopholes in your understanding. That loopholes you bring in Prashna, which has to be Uttara. That also is so beautiful word. Ut, uplifting to the highest. Tara takes us, mobile takes us towards that highest. Spoon feeding is not the way. But we have been pampered enough intellectually also. So one kid just recently said, why do you like bananas? Is it the taste? Is it the flavor? Is it the... He said, no. Of all the fruits, I find this kid is barely 5-year-old. Okay? I said, I find it the most user-friendly fruit. Any other fruit which seems easier than this has to be at least washed. This need not be washed. I have to just peel it, eat it, done. But that peeling is in your hands, right? The fruit is already given, Shravana. Now, if you expect that the guru sits there, mashes that banana after removing the peel, and then takes a spoon and then feeds it in your mouth and then presses it to go all the way to the stomach, ये कहाँ का न्याय है? Then the same person will say it is being shoved upon. करो तो परेशानी, नहीं करो तो परेशानी. See, when that showering grace is seen, when all these three merge into that one moment where we have that opportunity, if we are not using it in the right sense, that Ishvara has 84 lakh options based on our vasanas. This fellow has too much of this vasana, put him in that. Or vasanas, each different kind with one vasana, keep it getting stuck. If we are being lazy, next life, Ajagar, python, food has to walk in. If we are being gluttonous, fish never stops eating. If it is parigraha, just keep accumulating, don't even enjoy what you have accumulated. Squirrel, always seeing in negative, dirty carcass, vulture. Because human life is a waste. A wasted opportunity. Tasmat, therefore, wake up. Think carefully, process carefully, understand carefully. Opportunities like this don't come by just like that. Some of the people who came for the evening satsanga, after they said whatever they had to say, I said, where do you live? I said, 2 streets away from here. Why have you not come? We have seen the flyers, we have seen the messages. It just didn't happen. Now they say, why don't others come? I said, same reason what you gave. Wherever you were is where they are. You can take the pond to the horse. I am not talking of the horse being taken to the pond. Puja Gurudev, what he did was bring the pond to the horse. Accessible. And still, दिमाग की बत्ती जलती नहीं है, क्या करें? Once this seriousness of the situation is understood and sincerity is born, then the first mantra is understood. That first mantra further elaborated is starting from this 4th mantra. Repeat after me. Anejadekam. Page 102. Anejadekam. Manaso javiyaha. Nainaddeva. Apnuvan. Purvamarshata. Tadhavato Anyan Atyeti Tishtata Tasminnapo Matarishva Dadati Anejadekam Manaso Javiyaha Nainat deva apnuvan purvamarshata tadhavato nyan atyeti tishtata तस्मिन्नपो मातरिश्वा दधाति। अनेजत एकम मनसः जवीयः। एजति, एजति, that which moves, that which has movement, that which has changes. Movement happens in time and space. If the camera in front of me is disturbing your vision, there is a chair around. So from this chair to that empty chair, there can be a movement. At 6 o'clock time, you are in certain space. By 6:30 you have to be in this space. It's the time. So in the Hyderabad traffic, I never ask for how much distance from here to there. Yeah, distance doesn't matter. It depends on the particular phase of time. So you have to ask, during that particular time, how much time does it take? The movement happens either in space or in time, or both. Ejati, that which moves. Now this, that which is Ishvara Tattva, which is the substratum of this entire, that which we call as creation, that which is the very self of each jiva, thereby being the substratum of the jiva as well, that Ishvara Chaitanya Tattva, that Chaitanya Tattva which is expressing as Ishvara, expressing as jiva, it does not move. Now when such descriptions are given, one, the difficulty of the task given is to try explaining that which is the unlimited, that which cannot be expressed through the vocabulary, in vocabulary. So it is always presented in seeming contradictions. From that which I experience, it is portrayed across in such a contradiction that it highlights and points that which cannot be expressed through vocabulary. Anejat. Anejat. Supposing you are, somebody is frenetically calling you. Amma, where are you? I am in the ashram. I am also in the ashram. I am searching for you. Where are you? I am inside the kutia. I am also inside the kutia. Where are you? Oh, I am in the kitchen area. If you are already there, do you have to reach that place? You are already there. You don't have to reach. That which is all pervading in itself means what? Antaha bahihi tat sarvam eva. In the Narayana Suktam we say, Antar Bahischa Tat Sarvam Vyapya Narayana Sthitaha. For that Tattva there is no Antar Bahihi. For us there is Antar Bahihi. Therefore, from our standpoint, that Supreme is being explained as that which is permeating inside and outside. Do not understand it that way that Sukshma Tattva has something inside, something outside. It does not see anything as inside or outside. But we have inside, outside, this side, that side, upside, downside. Therefore, from our standpoint, it is being explained. If in a gulab jamun well made or rasagulla well made, now why do I say well made? If it is not well made, then the example will not be. If you rush the process, those little balls that you make out of the mawa, throw it into the very hot, even before, one more step, very hot oil. Then what happens? The outside seems cooked, the inside, it is like the earth's core. It is very hard. That the spoon, when you dip, it has to go through and through. Well made. If it goes and then suddenly turns, that means there is something inside which is not cooked properly. That's why I said well done. Well done through and through. After that is taken out from the frying process, you wait for a couple of minutes, couple of seconds for the oil to drop or the ghee to drop, and then into the hot syrup. And then it sucks it in. Now you have a personal one-on-one interview with the sugar syrup. Miss Sugar Syrup, where exactly are you in this whole dish? The sugar syrup would say, where am I not? Antar Bahischa Tat Sarvam Vyapya Sugar Syrup Eva Tishtati. When you ask, what do you mean, where am I not? I am a perfect dish. What do you mean asking that question? There is no point where I am not, meaning I am equally there everywhere. So all pervasiveness means that this Chaitanya Tattva, this Paramatma Tattva alone is everywhere. Therefore, with respect to time and space, which is in that Paramatma Tattva, इस सृष्टि में भगवान कहाँ है? अरे भैया, इस सृष्टि में भगवान नहीं है, सृष्टि भगवान में स्थित है. The concept of very time happens in that Paramatma Chaitanya. He existed, and when he first had the sankalpa, first thought, from zero, when there was absolutely no thought, to the first thought when it was, the duration that it took, it is called time. First was always Paramatma. Therefore, when we look at the watch, the smallest denomination there is always, it is the second. It is not the first. Because before it was Paramatma. Therefore, when the kids ask this question, when was Bhagavan created? When was that Paramatma created? Before the concept of time. Everything else is created. Time also is created in that Paramatma Chaitanya. Space also is created in that Paramatma Chaitanya, supported by that Paramatma Chaitanya. Therefore, there is no need for that Chaitanya Tattva to have any movement. Usually, in a material sense, when there is no movement, there is stagnation. Whenever there is stagnation, there is all kinds of things, horrible things that we start perceiving and experiencing. Smell, bad smell, all kinds of green algae. Why? Stagnation has led to it. There is no movement there. Thank goodness he comes ahead of time. Because when you enter in first, this space is hot, stale. There is no movement. The windows are closed, the doors are closed. So he opens up everything, aerates it, puts the fan, gets in that movement. Because if there is no movement, if there is, that is called stagnant, and in stagnant, staleness, all kinds of horrified things we start experiencing. When you say anejat, our mind goes immediately thinking, is it like the water being stagnant or the space being stagnant? Because all these staleness and bad things we'll start experiencing. No, it is not from that standpoint. There need not be a movement because there is no time and space which it does not pervade. Anejati. Ekam. Now here, ekam is this one. This one does not have movement. Or you can also say, this is one without a second. This alone is, which has no movement. Anejadekam. Manasaha javiyaha. What method or what is the fastest thing in this world?
Mind.
They say that when the spacecraft leaves the atmosphere, it is at Mach 10. Very fast. It has broken the sound barriers and very fast. Faster than the fastest is our mind. Therefore, faster than any other media is gossip. Whenever you share something, just add one sentence. I am just telling you only, huh? Don't tell anybody else. After that masala, then we said, अब तो बोलना ही पड़ेगा. Why? Otherwise, आरागा तू, बचेगा नहीं. I don't know, I heard it, huh? Don't ask me who told. Mind is the fastest. And this mind, wherever it goes, this Atma Chaitanya is already there. In fact, that statement is a little off the mark because the mind can go only where there is Atma Chaitanya. Therefore it can go. If it is not supported by that Atma Chaitanya, that means it exists not. Mind with its speed can go only to that which already exists, and that existence is Paramatma. Mind needs a vrittakara movement. Therefore, the thought is called vritti. A consolidated vritti, when expressed in action, is called pravritti. Prakatita vritti, expressed thought. In Gurudev's language, he says, a loud expression of the thought is action. Pravritti. Why is the thought called a vritti? The thought moves from the mind through the organs of perception into the world, sees it, permeates it as though, gathers the data, comes back. So this cyclical motion is called vritti. Therefore the thought is called vritti. And that when consolidated, a direction, a decision has been made, then it expresses as different actions, and those actions are called pravritti. When those actions are repeated in a few times, each person repeats in their pravritti. And because we see that repeated pravritti in each individual, we call it as their pravartana. Pravartana meaning their behavior. Behavior becomes their characteristics. All based on vritti. I am just giving you the chain of the thought, how it evolves, develops and consolidates. For that vritti to go out and seek that information, that which exists. That which exists not cannot be touched. The mind has no realm in it. Sometimes, in some pressured environment, my mother used to give such beautiful directions. It is only later that I got to know, when I sampled other mothers also, that all mothers are the same. ఆ రూమ్లో అక్కడి నుంచి అది తీసుకురా. The mind is at a loss. And immediately the questions that follow, ये रूमू ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఏం తీసుకురావాలి, उस रूम में से वो चीज को अभी ले आ. A little more description please. I know Shruti is called Mata, therefore probably the abstractness in her direction given. Unless those parameters are given wherein I know there is something that exists, the mind cannot go there. So before the mind has already reached, this already is there. It exists. Manasaha javiyaha. From the standpoint of the mind, it appears, Arre, I have not even reached there, it is already there. Therefore, from the mind standpoint, it is being said that which is faster than the mind. Manasaha javiyaha. Na enat deva apnuvan purvam arshata. these devas could not outrun this Chaitanya Tattva. Now, when such statements are made, that is where a proper understanding has to be revealed. Because there is a very technical language, a technicality applied here. If you go by the ordinary conviction of our vocabulary, then we may fall trap to our ordinariness of our convictions, therefore it may not reveal the actual meaning of it. Deva. Deva means it is senses, because the meaning says so. You have already read the meaning. But why does it say as senses? Because the root word of Deva is, the etymological derivation of that word Deva is Dyotanat Devaha. That which illumines is called Deva. If I ask all of you, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Everybody is still staring at me. Close your eyes. Now, how many fingers am I holding? You will not be able to open your eyes. I am not holding anything. The eyes have to illumine the padartha for it to be revealed. Sometimes, even though the ears had revealed the instruction, close your eyes, I had to look at each one of you and say, please close your eyes. I mean it. Unless the ears illumine the sounds, there is no hearing. No, Swamiji, ears are always open, they are unlike the eyes, they don't have flaps. We hear everything. No. When you are watching a serious match, the Lions versus the Titans, India versus Australia, India versus ये मैंने नहीं बोला, आपने बोला है. We get to those ridiculous levels wherein if the going is good, scoring is good, and suddenly one missed outswing and somebody wants to get up to get water or nahi, baitho wahin. As if this fellow sitting there or not sitting there will influence the bat there. You are into such intensity of a watching. Somebody is calling, screaming your name. Dyotanad Devaha. It is not because you can't hear. Hearing is happening. You are not illumining that sound. You are illumining something else. That sound is also reaching your ears. But then the ears are not focused on it. Focus meaning it is not illumining it. Early in the morning you have something to rush to and you are searching for your bike keys or car keys and you are grumbling in the morning itself. Swasthiti. It's a normal day, everyday routine. And you finally scream, where are the keys? And the mother of the house was anticipating this scream. No sooner that she hears where are, already the message is being delivered. It is right there on the center table. I am standing at the center table. Where is it? Move the paper from the morning. It is there. It is right there, but the eyes are not illumining it. Na enat deva purvam arshata. These devas, these senses, could not ever outrun this Chaitanya Tattva. Why? That which they have claimed as their capacity itself is drawn from this Chaitanya. And that which is being illumined is a different name and form of that very Chaitanya Tattva alone. Therefore, before the illumination can happen, it already is. Na enad deva purvam arshata. Apnuvan purvam arshata. Apnuvan meaning to apnoti, to reach, to attain. Before they could reach or attain, it is as though this Chaitanya Tattva is looking at the devas and saying, ne, 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 ne. I am already here. I am faster than you. We see the same thing in Upanishad. With the borrowed strength of this Chaitanya Tattva, the air, wind god, went to test that Chaitanya Tattva. And before he could introduce himself, do you know who I am? I said, okay, whoever you are. If you say that that is your capacity, he takes a blade of grass, puts it on the thing and says, try blowing it. He could not. They cannot outrun that Chaitanya Tattva. It is like our children staying in our house. They give us an ultimatum. When you enter my room, knock and come. होगा तेरा रूम, है मेरा घर. Am I getting across the sense of it, the meaning of it? Apnuvan purvamarshata. Tat dhavatāh api anyan atyeti tishtata. It seems like contradictions, but it is a very beautiful description, not a contradiction. Atyeti tishtata. Atyeti tishtata meaning it is sitting. Tishtata. And yet, meaning it is for us to move, to compete, to run. There is a lot of effort involved. Effortlessly, it is already there everywhere. All that the mantra is saying is intellectually we try grasping this particular tattva through various techniques or methods. But all of them fail. Wherein our effort is trying to understand it through a certain processing. If you pause and evaluate the processing itself, that because of whose presence it is happening is this Atma Chaitanya. That Tattva is here and now, not there and then. There was one Mahatmaji I had met. Somebody had come to ask a question. It is becoming so difficult to practice and meditate and do the japa and other things at home. I am thinking of shifting to some place where I can. So the Mahatma, very simple words, he said, if you can't do it here and now, I assure you, you cannot do it then and there. What a profound statement in its simplicity. If you cannot do it here and now, in that place I will go, then I will do it. Hoga nahi. You'll put the effort to go to there and reach to then. Still, you will not be able to. Because the mind is, its way of processing is still outwardly. I came across a different group. I don't want to add any adjectives to that group. They say we will try understanding and experiencing this divine through scientific gadgets. Therefore, that group's name also is Scientology. What can be evaluated is the matter and the energy frequency. And this is neither energy nor matter. Therefore, when we inadvertently say, I don't know if there is God or not, but I believe in energy, you are way off the mark. Why? Mass transformed is energy. Subtlest form of mass or matter is energy. Subtlest form of energy is thought. That is why it is faster than anything that matters. Therefore, we don't call that supreme as supreme energy. If you have observed our vocabulary, we don't call that Ishvara as Shakti. We call him as Shaktiman, the one who is endowed with Shakti. Even that which is expressing in the form of Shakti. What is the description in Lalita Sahasranama? Nirguna, Nishkala. All that which is the form of matter has some kind of color, some kind of guna, some kind of attribute. That Parashakti is that which expresses though as Shakti is still beyond that Shakti. Therefore, whichever form that you worship doesn't matter. Through that form which attracts your mind, you have to reach to this which is beyond forms. The last sentence. Tasminnapo matarishva dadhati. Here, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya says it beautifully. He says, here Gurudev writes it as Apaha Matarishva as wind and Apaha as water. Adi Shankaracharya ji puts it so beautifully, where he says that the Matarishva and the Matarishva means the Jiva. the one who is the Ishvara of this Chittakasha. Matarishva, the Ishvara of space. So the Jiva is the Ishvara of this individual space. Apaha, apnoti. Through karma starts acquiring various kinds of things. Both, whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, that which it attains, becomes a tendency and a vasana. Tasmin napo matarishva dadhati. This jiva to exist and the karma to be performed, the karma phala to be attained. All of this happens in whose presence? That is called Atma Chaitanya. The realized one also is in the same kind of field, appears to be doing the same kinds of things that you and I are also doing. But what is the difference? The difference being, where are we centered in? The realized one is centered in the self within, the Atma Chaitanya. Where are we centered? Our classic answer should be, it depends. As soon as this class is done, in another 3-4 minutes, the next, where are we centered in? Madhya Pradesh. Because there is a lacuna inside. It is demanding. So I am at the prana level or the sukshma sharira level. Because ashana pipasa is of that level, at the prana. Therefore, when we give naivedya, what do we say? Prana swaha, apana swaha, vyana swaha, udana swaha, samana swaha. Why to prana? Because the movement of that prana is what creates ashana pipasa. Sometimes we are at the sharira, sometimes at the prana, most of the time at the mana, very rarely at the intellect, buddhi. The Panchakosha Viveka, what is it trying to say? Tired from the earlier 4, then I get centered in the Karana Sharira. That is when I have good sleep. Sometimes in satsanga we have to be centered, not sometimes, in satsanga you have to be centered in the buddhi, but then where do we get dragged into? Into the karana sharira. Therefore, it is not that they are agreeing with what I am saying. They are deeply centered in something else. Wherever is the functioning happening, they are centered in the self and function through that particular frame. Whereas we, completely alienated from the self, we function through different centers at different times and spaces. What do we have to do? While doing what we are doing, reorient ourselves to be centered within that self. Because this jiva, when performs into the outside world as karma, and the karma phala is bhoga drishti, so you enjoy that karma phala. All of this, the processing that is happening happens in the presence of, supported by that Atma Chaitanya. So all that you have to do is not alienate from the action, sab kuch chhod chhad ke. That is where Arjuna fell into a wrong logic. You cannot jump away from the field of activity. While doing so, where are you centered in? So that's why I like those knock jokes. When the calling knocks in, where exactly are you centered? Whenever there is a reactive surge, how is it easy to detach? Recenter yourself and evaluate it. Tasmin apo matarishva dadhati. It is that who gives the support for this functioning to happen. So centered in that, function. It's that simple. But then what makes it complicated? Not the process, not the Vedanta. My own cravings, attachments and wrong identities, wrong centering leads to that confusion. We will continue tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.